I guess Happy Monday's in order.
I mean, that's kind of what it feels like. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, look, we had a good weekend, bro. So I mean, Monday's okay. Monday's all right. This Monday's all right.
Yeah, all right then.
You don't sound too convinced, bro.
No, not at all. Not at all. But hey, you know what? I couldn't stop it from coming. I was trying, but I couldn't stop it from coming.
We'll talk about all the good things that happened at WrestleMania over the course of the weekend. I know you got a lot to talk about with that. So,
Oh yeah, okay. Happy Monday.
see, there you go. Now look at you,
All right,
Homer.
whatever.
Ladies and gentlemen, batten down the hatches. We'd like to introduce you to the greatest combat sports show bar none. You are now in the beatdown.
You wanna get beat down?
Let us now introduce you to your host, the Badger, and
You want to get beat down,
Man,
dog?
she inspires me to take some punches, but it's about as far as it goes.
Either that or you ready to fight? Yeah.
I mean, listen, if we needed to get a battle cry ready, like, yeah, she'd be the one.
Yeah. So, dude, you're in the same location.
Listen, bro, we got some home improvements. We got some things going on, bro. Some technical difficulties, as they like to say. So, yeah, we just make do what we got.
Okay. You got a huge bathroom.
I see that shirt you got on, though. Let me see what that look like.
This one right here.
Oh, one of them? Okay. Just making sure. Okay. Man, happy Monday, bro. What's going on? Talk about WrestleMania last night, because despite the hurricane we had come through yesterday, bro, we keep seeing all these things about WrestleMania. Bro, Titus O'Neil brought it home last night. Him and Hulk, of course. That's my only connection to the thing, bro. So talk about it.
I was trying to figure out why they were even there. They were supposed to be hosting it, and I mean, they did a good job with what they were allowed to do, but they really didn't have a huge presence, to be honest with you. They were there they were shown maybe once on Saturday night, and from what I saw, once on Sunday. But it was good to see Titus. My thing is the class of 2021 Hall of Fame. I was happy to see Kane up there. And the most interesting inductee into the Hall of Fame this year had to be Vince's competitor, Eric Bischoff. The guy who ran WCW when Ted Turner took over, or when Ted Turner sold it to I forgot who bought it. No, when Ted Turner took over. Yeah, right. Eric Bischoff came in, and Eric was the one who really put pressure on Vince. To see him come into the Hall of Fame, in the WWE Hall of Fame, I was like, wow, that was kind of interesting. And then they had the great Khali, the huge Hindu. He was like 7'2". He looked like a cartoon character in real life. He was huge, man. Huge. He got inducted. A lot of people were wondering why he got inducted for looking at the length of time he had in the organization. But I think a lot of it was because his connection to India and the fact that he was the first real big Indian superstar in the WWE. But it was good. It was they actually put Ozzy Osbourne in there.
Wow.
Yeah, they inducted Ozzy Osbourne into the Hall of Fame. And
did he wrestle?
No.
Okay, I didn't think he did. So why is he in there?
Well, he contributed a number of tunes to the WWE. Okay. Yeah. Again, it's also sometimes you put people in there because you want to attract attention to your Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's all it is, because that makes no sense.
None whatsoever. It was interesting. I mean, I was happy. I was really happy. Rob Van Dam made it, and I was kind of shocked about that. He's been a legend in other companies more than the WWE, but a legend nonetheless. He made it. And yeah, I mean, I think there were one or two other ones, but Molly Holly made it, and I'm trying to figure out why on that one as well. But I was happy to see Kane in there. I was really happy to see him with his ring on and come out, and it was just nice. It was nice. Now to the matches.
Yes, and for the record, while we're doing this, bro, please make sure we use their stage names and not their real names, because the common folk know these people like you do. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did. Right, so far, I've used them. Yeah. The matches. I look, the Raw Women's title match was defended last night between Asuka, the Japanese superstar who came over here and just took things by storm. She defended the title against Rhea Ripley from Australia. Rhea Ripley is very ruthless, I guess you'd say. Her style inside the ring, the ring is very aggressive, methodical and aggressive. She's big. She's not fat. She's big. I guess Rhea's probably around 6'1", 6'2". And I'm gonna say Rhea Ripley is every bit of 220. Maybe anywhere between 200 and 220. She's big. She would easily be a UFC middleweight or above. She's thick. And Asuka's main thing is speed and movement, and she really overwhelms people with a lot of kicks and submission holds. And Rhea Ripley was able to just kind of pick her up and just, she did take some abuse from Asuka, but she was able to use that size and just literally, if the mat was weak in any section, she could have driven Asuka right through the mat. It was a good match. It was action packed. It was believable, and that's that. When I rate matches,
that's a selling point.
Yeah, I rate that as believable. It was everything that happened in that match, you could actually see happening. There was nothing that was outlandish where somebody flipped off the ring onto the table and jumped back on the rope. And no, this was tight. And then I just want to talk about the Universal Men's Championship, which is the one that they usually use on SmackDown, and that was between Roman Reigns, the champion, Daniel Bryan, and Edge. Now keep in mind, Edge is still riding that wave, because 10 years ago last night, Edge had to relinquish the WWE title because of fear of paralysis. He had suffered a broken neck and he had some other issues, and so he had to walk away from wrestling. Well, he showed up last year at the Royal Rumble, which was right before the pandemic. And he got hurt again a months later by Randy Orton. So he came back and he worked his way back and he showed up and he got a WrestleMania. He won the Royal Rumble this year, got his WrestleMania match, and then because Daniel Bryan was kind of screwed out of his opportunity at the Elimination Chamber, they both got in the match with Roman Reigns. And I got to be honest, that was the best thing that happened to Roman Reigns, because both of them had Roman Reigns to the finishing point. Daniel Bryan had him to the point where he was about to tap out, and Edge finally got in and broke that up. And then Edge had hit everybody with chairs and was getting ready to pin Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns' cousin Jey Uso jumps in, who's his real life cousin, by the way, jumps in and saves it. It was crazy, because every wrestling insider, and I think Vince changed this within the week of WrestleMania, because every wrestling insider, even the ones who were very friendly and very much in the know with the WWE, had Edge winning the match. And he was gonna get rid of this new title and go back to the old one, the big gold that Ric Flair used to carry. So when Roman won, it was like, whoa, it kind of shocked everything. And then Roman kept the title. So I'm anxious to see what's going to happen on SmackDown this Friday. If they're going to continue that storyline, or if Vince just changed it at the very end, because he'll do that. He'll change his mind and he'll scrap a program at the very last minute. So we'll see. But WrestleMania was a win-win for WWE this year. 2 nights, Raymond James Stadium. Every ticket that could be sold was sold. They had events going on even through the rain. People were there earlier for these events. It really looked good for the WWE. It was the first event on Peacock within the United States.
I saw a lot of promotion on that too. I just want to add that in there.
Now, outside the United States, the WWE network is still functioning, and that's who carries it. But inside the United States, Peacock paid them $2 billion to have rights to everything that's shown inside the United States. That's crazy.
Man, the Peacock, them Alphabet boys, they got big wallets, bro.
Oh yeah,
they got big wallets.
Yeah, but bro, I saw something that was very interesting. After WrestleMania, they had Stone Cold Steve Austin has a show called the Broken Skull Sessions, where he brings wrestlers on to talk to him, and they kind of let down their guard and they really talk about their careers and everything. He had Chris Jericho on last night. Mind you, Chris Jericho was instrumental in starting their only competition. So at the beginning, Chris Jericho made a statement. I think I avoided the snipers on my way in here today. Because it shocked everybody. The fact that you would have AEW's Chris Jericho on. But Jericho dude, if you ever get a chance to look at it, Chris Jericho has had an amazing career. He was born in New York, even though he claims the Winnipeg because that's where he was raised. But his dad was an all-pro NHL hockey player. And this kid kind of navigated his own way through wrestling. He's been wrestling for over 30 years now. And he's navigated his own way. He went and wrestled. He started out in Canada with small promotion, and he worked his way into Stampede Wrestling. And then he left there and went to Mexico. Left Mexico, went to Japan. Left Japan, went back to Mexico. And then his reputation had built up to the point where he went back to Canada, and ECW found him, really in Mexico, but he had to go back to Canada before ECW got in touch with him. And that's how he kind of worked his way in, from ECW to WCW to WWE. And he stayed in WWE, kept reinventing himself. And it was an amazing interview because it was very candid. He talks about the business itself and how he was able to stay relevant. And he wrote down every match he's ever had over the 30-plus year career. Not just the match, who it was against, where it was. He rated it, and he even talked about how much he got paid from each match. He put it in a book. I think it's Jericho's List, or The List by Chris Jericho. But I know it doesn't seem like a big thing, but it is. He's the only wrestler I know that has done that can go back and reference every match. And he says it helps him so much now grooming the young talent in AEW. Because he's able to say, okay, here's where I put my time in. Here's how I got to this point. Right now, you're at a pivotal point in your career because you're getting paid and you're on TV and you're young. So appreciate it, embrace it, and learn how to make it work for you. It was a very good interview, man. It was a very good interview. So that's all for WWE WrestleMania right now. Yeah, but stay tuned because I want to see where this Roman Reigns storyline, if he holds on to the belt much longer. We talked about yesterday, Bobby Lashley held on to his. The New Day with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, they lost the titles. Now they're 11-time tag team champions in WWE. They lost the tag team champions to AJ Styles and the rookie Almas. Almas is 7'3", over 400 pounds. big African American dude. Just, I forgot where they found him. I think he played basketball, and they brought him in a couple years ago, and they've been developing him. But this is a match that I don't like because it didn't look believable. It did not look believable.
And therein lies the spectacle of the sport that you love so much, bro. So, I mean, look, we don't want to beat that up. They lost the belt, which has surprised me because my first time seeing Kofi was probably about, how long has he had the belt? Has it been about 2 years, a year and a half, somewhere in there?
He had the world title himself for a while.
Right. So when did he win that title? Because that's the first time that was my first introduction to who he was. Because he had all the pink stuff, the tassels on him and stuff.
And the pancakes.
Like,
yeah.
Kind of like the Ultimate Warrior kind of ish.
No.
You know.
Kind of like a minstrel show. Yeah.
No. Oh, well, please indulge, bro. This is your lane. I'm speaking as someone that's straight from the outside. I don't know any of the backstory. I'm just looking at what I saw.
Listen, they made him, even though the fans accepted him as the world champion, they made him look buffoonish, cartoonish, and they never let him really carry that championship swagger. This was a couple years ago.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just curious because I don't know enough about him. I just see him as, I know he's famous. He's a star because I'm not really, well, I do. I check for it a little bit now because we have to talk about it a little bit on the show, but I don't check for wrestlers. So the fact that he's coming across my TV screen, my socials, that means that they're doing a good job of marketing him because they're marketing him to the general sports fan, which is me. I'm not a hardcore wrestling fan, but I'm a sports fan. So anything sports related, I see it, and they've been doing a good job marketing him. And then I think, I want to say the Tampa Times had been writing pieces on a lot of these wrestlers for, I want to say, the past few months as they've been gearing up for WrestleMania, I think.
Yeah.
And they did a story on him. And I kind of read through it a little bit. So yeah, I kind of been intrigued. The marketing is working on their end, but when you start talking about this buffoonery stuff, bro, you got me because I'm trying to figure out where it's because I'm missing it. So without taking too much time, just kind of walk me through where you got this from.
Listen, when he first came in, right, he's always been a high flyer, high energy, smiling kind of guy. When he first came in, they gave him the character Kofi Kingston from Kingston, Jamaica. Well, a couple months in, he said, no, I'll be Kofi Kingston, but I'm going to talk about my true home, Ghana, West Africa. So, yeah. So, he teamed up with the New Day. They tried to make them bad guys. Xavier Woods, Big E Langston.
Hold on. I got to stop you.
Yeah.
So, Kofi Kingston.
Right. It's from Ghana, West Africa.
Hold on. See, speaking that turn. That wasn't your turn, right? So, where did we get this straight? So, they created Kofi Kingston, right? Mm-hmm. And he was supposed to be from Jamaica. That's what they were selling. He was supposed to be Jamaican.
From Kingston, Jamaica, right.
From the shit, from the rock, from Kingston, right? Okay. But he's really from Ghana.
Right, with an American accent.
I'm done. All right, go ahead. Wrap this up. I'm done.
But here's an interesting thing. It's like they have tried to package him and his crew and make them so buffoonery, silly that people wouldn't embrace him. But the fans embraced him. The fans hated him so much in the beginning when he teamed up with E. Langston and Xavier Woods as the New Day, that they had to give him a push because, the fans they booed him. They had they came out playing the trombone with the music, and, the fans just chimed in, New Day sucks. And then when they became babyface, and it wasn't that they turned babyface, the fans turned them babyface from being heels. And then the fans, instead of saying New Day sucks, were cheering New Day rocks. New Day. And I'm looking at this evolution going, you got to be kidding me. They have all the skill and talent, bro. They've had to make, and I applaud them because they've had to make that work through all the things that WWE tried to do. No.
Yeah.
And look, unfortunately, Big E lost the Intercontinental title to this guy, Apollo Crews, black guy who recently found his Nigerian heritage. Yeah, he's from the United States, but
okay. now that we could, that was a segue. Not that I was looking for it, but we're gonna transition off WWE to talk about something a little more interesting to me. Right?
Well, before you do that, I do want to announce that all the stuff that Kofi's been through, he was the first African-born world heavyweight champion. I did not want to let that go.
No, you didn't have to let it go. I hear it just came across. But bro, listen, man. Now I'm gonna say this, and I don't want this to be misconstrued or taken out of context.
Oh, here we go.
No, because I know you had me thinking this too, bro. Because I can't be the only one thinking this. I can't be.
Okay.
Bro, I'm just gonna ask you this one time. If you are born in a particular country, you are that nationality. Is that correct? That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with that being said, bro, I'm all for. Listen, I am all for.
Here we go.
I am all for the takeover of combat sports, boxing, MMA. I just really want to know, and this is my fault, and I should be doing this on a public live platform. I probably should have done my research, which I didn't do. I wonder how many of these guys we see flying these flags from other countries. Are you representing your heritage because it's where your parents? Hold on, let me finish. Are you representing this heritage because that's your culture in your home? Because you were born in the United States. You're more American than you are anything. Like you said, accent, you are American. Now, what you embrace, what you're taught at home is totally different. And I get that. But I'm just curious to know, like, how does that really work? Or do you just get to pick what country you want to represent? Like, if I was born and raised in America, my parents are from Ghana. Do I fly the Ghana flag? Is that just pride, or am I really represent? I don't know how.
Do you really want me to get into this?
Please go ahead, bro. You got nothing to do. Nothing to do.
Realistically, and I say this, and I've been saying this for years. We were killed for our culture in this country. Literally killed for our culture in this country. Hence why we got step routines, because that's what we have to use in the coal mines to communicate. Why we have
don't just drive by that casually. Like, I don't know what that means. Give me some context.
All right, so
had step routines in the mines.
When we worked in the coal mines, as an ethnicity, we were not allowed to communicate in our own language, and they stopped us from singing to communicate.
Okay,
so
I get it now.
That's where,
bro.
Right. That's where the whole step routine, the hands and the feet and the legs and the movements, that's where that came from. We developed another language to communicate. Now it's been taken and marketed as an art form, but that art form came out of a need for communication. So you look at that. We used to sing in the fields until they realized after hundreds of years, wait a minute, these songs, they're communicating through these songs. So we weren't allowed to sing in the next phase.
Well, even in the hair patterns, how we did hair and stuff like that. Yeah, all those were things. I thought this was something more recent. Like, well, okay, yeah, it makes sense. All right.
It stems back. We were broken from our culture. So
well, yeah, that too. And I also forgot about the fact that we actually worked in like coal mines and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So now
in Africa, by the way.
When other yes, or diamond mines, the whole thing.
Yeah. Coltan, all that stuff.
Yes. So now when other countries started coming over, immigrating over, they were never treated that way. We weren't allowed to speak our languages. So when other cultures came over, other nationalities came over, they were allowed to keep their heritage, their language. So there is a pipeline. There is something. What am I looking for? There's an anchor there. So yeah, you may be third generation American, but you speak Spanish in the home from Puerto Rico or from Cuba or from Nicaragua, Colombia. You speak Portuguese in the home, but you're third generation American, but you're taught and you've lived your culture. From an American standpoint, your audio is going, bro. Hold on.
You
Now
got me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can.
I think it's just the Wi-Fi. Anyway, so here's the question, Chad. Now I'm following you there. Is there a process? And I know this is listen, we're gonna get into combat sports. We're gonna do that, but this is just something that was on my mind as you started talking. Who was the athlete, bro, that we covered on the show? He wanted to fight, or maybe historically, maybe it was someone who was interviewing. He wanted to fight under a certain flag, but they wouldn't allow him to because he was born in another country. I'm sure this happens all the time, but
It wasn't a he, it was a she. We interviewed Raquel Miller.
And she wanted to fight. Got it. Okay.
Right. And they said that she had to wait like 24 months or something like that.
Because she was trying to fight under the Ghana flag, right?
Yes, it was Ghana. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But okay, so we'd have to get her back on the program to explain that. But so
hashtag watch the pod. She actually went through and explained it.
Watch the pod. Yeah. Well, okay, that was a while ago. I'm bringing it up in context now, so people that didn't see that. Yeah. Do you remember what that process was?
She said you could not have fought for the United States or been on a United States team, I think, for 24 months.
Okay.
And I think it was unless you were, like, your parents were born there or something. There was a loophole in there, but she didn't fit the loophole. They invited her to come fight as a dual citizen, and the United States would not give her permission.
Yeah, I think Demetrius Andre had something like that happen with him trying to fight under the Cape Verdean flag, I think. But Andre Berto, born and raised right here in Central Florida, but he fought under the Haitian flag in the Olympics. So I'm just curious as to how that works, brother. So I wouldn't.
He probably did not. He probably didn't go out for Team USA.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can look that up. Yes, it's a search. Yeah.
But that's
his
something.
Parents are Haitian. His parents are first generation Haitian. So yeah,
I thought about it when I came out of high school. I was looking at wrestling, and I had been in USA Wrestling for a minute, and I was like, wow, I wonder if I went to Nigeria or if I went to Ghana or Kenya, could I wrestle for them? Just as an honor. Not that I wasn't proud to be an American, but I was starting to understand things that were going on in the world quickly. Yeah. And I was like, it'd be kind of cool to represent them in the Olympics so they would have a representative. And yeah, I knew I was good enough at that point. But now as you get older, you look back and go, well, but that was something that actually crossed my mind. I just didn't know how to investigate it. We didn't have the internet. It wasn't as easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot different back then.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting because when you bring that up, I used to have a lot of issues with that. I'm like, if you're born here in America, why are you waving a Cuban flag, a Mexican flag, a Puerto Rican flag? Why is that in your yard?
Okay, we need to get into combat sports, but I do want to take 1 second to address what you said, because I feel like for me, I thought very similarly to that.
Well, that's when I went to my grandparents and they kind of went through the whole history. So go ahead.
Yeah, and that's all I was gonna say, bro. Listen, you and I are both thankful and blessed for whatever it's worth to have been born and raised in a country where we didn't have to really worry about clean drinking water, where we would get food from, all those sorts of things that other countries you would have to worry about that kind of stuff. But it's a lot of stuff that goes on here, man, that I can see why people would want to or proudly fly the flag of other countries, especially if it's a heritage thing, within their home. But yeah, I'm just curious, bro. I'm curious for African Americans, more importantly, because unlike other cultures that, I don't want to get too far down as well, but other cultures that kind of came here on their own volition, right? You kind of came here seeking asylum or whatever you came here for. Mm-hmm. I just think it's interesting. I don't want to get too into it, but I want to put it out there. Maybe we can talk about it on another show another time, but it's just interesting, bro.
Do you remember when my dad was on here?
Yes.
I think it was the night when we still had the show over in the nighttime. He talked about his dad growing up in New York, New Jersey, that area. And his dad became a carpenter in the union, one of the few blacks that made it into the union. And his dad had to learn Italian to be able to understand the what's the word? The orders that were given out to the workers in the union. And this is America. But it just shows you how segmented America was and is. He had to learn Italian to get in the union and be able to communicate with the men that he was working with in the union in construction, then in New York and in New Jersey. And how, he's like, he used to shake his head because he's like, wait a minute, I'm born and raised here. My mom's born and raised here, but y'all don't want me in this union. So I got to go above and beyond. Now, mind you, I don't think his dad finished high school, but he learned another language fluently so he could work.
Yeah, African Americans have a very, very interesting story. I think if more people just took the blinders off and listened to what they would tell them, that they would be, if definitely not more informed, at least more empathetic to what we go through. And I said it because I was thinking about something too, man. But we'll talk about that on another show. Let's transition to combat sport.
Yeah.
Fight the people in here, bro. We had a weekend of good fights coming up, but before we get back into recapping those, we got a good fight coming this weekend, bro. Yo boy, who we never get to see fight because he's just, for whatever reason, he can't keep a job, right? He can't keep a job. He'll never work, right? We get to see Boo Boo Andre this weekend against Liam Williams. Bro, Liam Williams has been knocking people the F out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you and I talked about Liam Williams a few months back. We were like, yo, I think when they initially announced this fight, and we were like, yo, this is going to be a good test because we know Boo Boo can fight. We know he can box. We know Boo Boo presents all the problems for guys that just don't really want to deal with it. Charlo, Canelo, Benavidez. We can go on down the list. Boo Boo Andre is not the first guy they want to fight.
Saunders.
Yeah. So, bro, he's in for a good fight this weekend. I'm going to be tuned in. I know you are. But, yeah, Liam Williams been knocking people out. He only has 2 losses, bro. Only 2 losses. One was to Liam Smith by decision. The other one was when he retired on the stool. He had a cut. Oh, I think it was a bad gas. They stopped the fight. Bro, this man is this is probably going to be the toughest test Boo Boo's had ever. He didn't look good. He didn't look good against his last fight against Keeler. Was Keeler his last fight on the zone? Was that like around November of last year?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because your boy was the main event, right? Logan Paul, right? Down in Miami. Ryan Garcia, yeah, Eddie Hearn had those guys down there, right? That was this past summer, right? Or this fall.
Yeah.
He didn't look good in that fight, bro. I watched the fight, he didn't look good. He won, but he did not look good. And I know, bro, that's primarily ring rust and just fighting till he loved the competition. Boo Boo Andre went from being one of the most feared guys in all of boxing at 154 pounds. So now he's an afterthought. And we talked about that, you and I, because we were saying, well, what's going on? Why Boo Boo can't keep fights? What are the issues going on with him? And it comes back to one thing, bro. It's management. Him and his dad are a team. But even when he first landed on the map, bro, at 154, he was not as active as we would like to see him be. We thought it was because, well, he's fighting for the other promotion and all the top 54s on the PBC side. But, bro, even some of the guys over in his overall zone, even some of those matchroom guys that could have matched him up with, no pun intended, and got those fights going, bro, he just hasn't been very active. What do you think we're going to see out of Boo Boo this Saturday?
It's going to be interesting because he's not that active, so I believe it's going to take a couple rounds for him to really get acclimated again. And that means he's going to have to survive for those first couple rounds before he gets acclimated because, as we know, sparring is nothing like the real thing. Nothing.
Right.
So I like Demetrius Andrade. I think because of, I want to say, apathetic management, he's given others the opportunity to duck him and move around him.
I like the way you worded that. That was nice. I can see that. I mean, yeah.
Because look, they had promo pictures and everything set up for that Saunders fight. Date picked out. Then all of a sudden, Saunders is fighting Canelo. Boo Boo looking for a fight. I mean, it's not an accident that this keeps happening to him. It's not an accident. It's allowed to happen. Do you really think Earl Spence would allow this to happen? Do you think Charlos would allow this to continue to happen to them? you know, as people would say back in the old days, you got to figure out what you really want to do.
Yeah.
Because eventually you're going to get older and slower, and your game's never been complete power.
Right.
So
yeah, you've made your means your business by being a very good boxer. Even if that means not using knees a lot and using your feet, which most people don't want to see. But I will take this before we got the boo-boo train. I did an interview with Keith Thurman a couple of years ago, and Keith Thurman said, hey, he said, yeah, I might move to 154 maybe one day, but I'm a natural 147 pounder. That's just where I am. I said, but man, if I went to 154, one guy would not want to fight is Boo Andre. And I read this information, and I was a little surprised as to why he would say this, because this was during the Manny Pacquiao camp. And he says, bro, I only lost, 2-3 fights in my whole amateur career? 2 or 3 of those was to Andre. I think he said he fought 4 times, he only beat him once.
Wow.
He was like, bro, the kid, he's like, man, that boy can fight his ass off.
Wow.
Keith Thurman doesn't just freely elicit compliments, especially this version of Keith Thurman 2 years ago before he fought Pacquiao. We ain't talking about Keith Thurman that's trying to find a fight now. We're talking about the guy that was still, for the most part, on top of the world.
At a championship belt, yeah.
Yeah, true. Well, he had just given up the WC, but yeah. So, yeah, bro, Boo Andre, you know, listen, world-class boxer. But like anything else, if you don't use it, you lose it. And this guy he's fighting on Saturday is not coming to play around. And like I say, he's been knocking people the F out. Now listen, knockouts, as you and I know, once you get up in competition, knockouts are harder to get. Even if you are a knockout artist, people aren't going to let you hit them with your favorite punch. Oh yeah, dynamite right hand? Well, I'm not going that way. Common sense. So the fact this guy's been knocking people out, I think his last 4 or 5 fights and ended the knockouts. He's a mandatory for that strap. Boo-Boo better be ready, bro. We'll talk more about it later on in the week as we get closer to that fight. But I just wanted to let you know that's on the table coming up this week. Now, let's get to what I know you really want to talk about. Your boy Jerron Ennis has been riding a wave ever since his performance on Saturday night. People doing a lot of loud talking on the internet. Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford right now? Hell no. Hell, convince me why you think that fight should happen right now, bro. Because you said that you feel like he's ready for those guys right now.
I look at his, I know he was fighting a Lipinets who's not the same Lipinets, but he's still a dangerous fighter. But he's not, you know, the Sergey Lipinets that you would have seen a couple years ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the way he handled that fight, the way he was never ever in any danger. The way he
hit one big shot.
Right.
It was nothing.
And the way he utilized his distance, the ring itself, it was like he was in a zone. And I'm saying to myself, he's a fight that Crawford would not want right now, that Spence would not want right now. And those are the two with the main belts. I think there's another belt holder out there, 147. I can never remember that person's name. But he's a problem. He's not a fight they'd want because it's one of those 50-50 fights. And if you're a champion, you don't want a 50-50 fight. And not unless it's going to be for big money against another champion.
I'm going to make this real clear for you, brother. Mm-hmm. I got one name and one name only. And you just tell me if you feel like you're ready. If you say you're ready, you're ready.
Don't say Sean Porter.
Showtime. It's Sean Porter. It's showtime. Bro, that's listen, if you want to get to Keith Thurman and Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, you gotta beat Sean Porter. If you want to respect yours, then it's Ugas got, because we thought they kind of might be a little home cooking in that fight. You gotta go through Sean Porter. I want to see him against Sean Porter. Convince me he's ready for Sean Porter, and then we can talk.
I'd like to see him fight Sean Porter. Yeah, I'd like to see him fight Sean Porter. You're never going to get enough experience for Sean Porter. That's the interesting thing about Sean Porter.
What's his chest, bro? Let me hear one more time. You ready for who?
Sean Porter.
Okay. Okay.
Other fighters, you say, he needs a little bit more seasoning experience. You're never going to get enough experience to fight Sean Porter. Why? Because Sean Porter's not going to fight you like anybody else. So, yeah, I think at this point, get in there, fight Sean Porter. You beat Sean Porter, they're going to have to give you a shot at the strap. And I like Ennis. I like Boots Ennis. I do.
Listen, he lucked up. And I'm saying luck in the sense that this train would be, it's rolling now, but he'd be like high speed rail. If yours Dennis Ugas hadn't already signed to fight Earl Spence, that would have to be the next fight. Ooh. Now, here's another name to be forgetting about, bro. Virgil Ortiz.
Yep.
Right?
To me, that should be a title eliminator.
They're so young, bro.
But here's the thing. Shakir Stevenson is young. Teofimo Lopez was young.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm listening.
You know how I feel about Shakur Stevenson. Okay.
Okay.
Teofimo Lopez, listen. That, and we talked about on this show, that was very smart, Todd LaBeouf, and all those guys over at Top Rank. That was smart, that was strategic, and that was a risk they were willing to take because they knew that their cash cow was getting a little long in the tooth. He was the next ticket. That's why they gave him the fight against Lomachenko, and he did what he was supposed to do. He beat him. But, bro, we still got to see him against Haney. We got to see him against Garcia. We got to see him against Ramirez. We got to see him against
Hold up. That's why he's talking about going to 140 already.
Yeah, but we still got to see him against Tank. Bro, there are a lot of great fights for Teal. So I don't want to ram this parade, but I'm not going to give him the coronation right now because
no coronation. No, that's why he wants to go to 140 because he don't want to see them.
Hey, hold on. No shade to T.O. Let me take a step back. He already had the coronation. He's unified champ. I'm just saying that it was a very strategic route to get there. Mm-hmm. He knocked out Richard Coleman in tremendous fashion. He beat Lomachenko to pieces. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with all that.
Me too.
I'm just saying that.
Now fight Devin Haney. Fight Gervonta Davis.
And I think that's what we're asking of Jerron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, but their murderer's row is way different than Teofimo's murderer's row, bro. I can't let you get away with saying that.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
So before we get up against it, my friend, you want to recap in this good MMA scraps we had over the weekend, bro, or are we kind of good with that?
I think we're kind of good with that. It was a good week. We got to see Ryan Bader. And I know we have a different take on that, but I still believe Ryan Bader got a good he was pushed because Bader really wanted to, and if you looked at the interviews before the fight, Bader wanted to knock out.
Yes, he did. He wanted revenge.
Yeah. He wanted to knock him out, and he couldn't. And he realized he couldn't. He wasn't good enough on the feet to really. He was losing those rounds to Machida when he was on the feet. So he did what he knew he could do. Huh?
Yeah, those moments, because those standing on the feet never lasted an entire round. He found out early that he couldn't quite get it out, and he took him down. Yeah, I agree with you, bro. I will say this, though. Ryan Bader sold the fight. Ryan Bader had all the intentions of going there and stopping Machida, but, bro, let's be clear about this. Jerron Ennis was looking for the knockout against Lipinets. He found it. It was there. It took a while, but when he found it was there, he knocked him out. I don't think Bader has that type of skill set, especially standing on the feet, to your point, to where that would even be possible. The only way he was going to stop Machida in a fight is on the ground. And mind you, it was going to be ground and pound because Machida is what?
A Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Exactly. So, so I think...
The interesting thing about Machida is Machida holds black belts in several concentrations. They talk about the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but Taekwondo, Judo. He's a true. Yeah, I mean his parents. I mean his dad was a master, so he got in the fight game at 3 years old.
Listen, Machida's going to Hall of Fame. Yeah. We're not doubting any of that. At 41.
42.
Or 42.
Yeah.
Against a 37-year-old who I just don't know if there's any more fights that can achieve at that level. Yeah, he can beat maybe the guys outside of the top 10. But you start getting to that top 10, it's just gonna get hard. He's getting older. He's not getting younger. I don't want to see him get wrecked, bro. If you don't have to, you lost to the champ. Maybe this is time to walk away, bro. But maybe we can deal with that on another show.
Yeah. It's we could deal with that later. But I do agree with you. He'll get another top level fight because it's MMA. It's just,
and he's the name. He's still the name,
and he doesn't look bad in the octagon.
He still looks good. He's preserved for the most part. Yeah, he don't look shot worn, but you start moving around. It's a little different when you start moving around in there, bro.
Yeah,
rounds from the first 2 rounds are way different than the last 3. I'll tell you that.
And I look back at the Marvin Vettori Kevin Holland fight, and I agree with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with
bro. Holland. The fact that he couldn't stop Holland. Now Holland's not an easy win either, but he couldn't stop Holland. Yeah. Let you know that Vettori's got a long way to go. He's got a long way to go. And that's all
I was saying, bro. I wasn't disagreeing with you on the fact that, of the outcome of the fight. We all saw it. But, bro, that man was shot after the 3rd round. He had nothing, bro. And what I like, too, was funny, too, bro. Wiry guys never get, and I think you told me about this one time we were talking about Tommy Hearns. We were talking about how the long, wiry guys can be very strong.
Yeah.
Marvin Vettori is built like a bodybuilder. Kevin Holland is built like
a basketball player.
An athlete, yeah. Track guy, basketball guy, yeah. And he couldn't, even when he had the body triangle, bro. He couldn't. It was interesting. That's all. It was interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you. Liz Carmouche
Carmouche. Mm-hmm.
Carmouche wants Chris Cyborg.
Why not? Names.
Exactly.
Listen, they're names. Exactly. Let her go at it, bro. Bellator, let them have it. You'll watch it. We'll be there.
Yeah, definitely.
I know you're gonna be there.
Cyborg fights on June 21st, I think. Also.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, she's gonna. Yeah.
So she wants Carmouche says she wants the winner of that fight. We'll see.
Hey, we can dig into that a little bit more. Well, I know you will as we get close to that fight, but I'm gonna do some research. I want to know more about her opponent.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
listen.
I want to know more about her opponent because she comes in with a little fanfare, but I don't know where from. So I gotta pull up and check out.
We gonna be talking about the Bellator card coming up this Friday as well, because on the main event we have Vadim Nemkov versus Phil Davis, and we're continuing with, and this is a title fight within a tournament, so you definitely want to watch this.
For sure,
definitely want to watch this. So we're gonna get into all these fights and the boxing matches, and we're not gonna hold you up. We appreciate y'all tuning in with us today. We're gonna get into these tomorrow, and Wednesday and Thursday, and get y'all ready so you already know what's gonna happen as the weekend comes. So, thank you all for your prayers. Audrey Brown is doing better. I'll be reaching out to her after the show, but she is doing better. We continue to push through, and we're glad you all hang in there and push through with us. If there's anything you want us to talk about, our names are right here at the Badger LMC, at Got Brew. Hit us up on Instagram. Let us know what it is we're not covering, or go to the Fighter Share Instagram at the Fighter Share, and let us know what it is you want us to cover, and we'll do that. All right, turn it over to my boy.
Man, that's pretty much all we got, man. It was a great show today as my partner delivered. He gave us a little bit of history lesson. I learned something from this too, but listen, we ain't gonna do a lot of this. I know it bored you guys, so tomorrow we back with more of this bull crap. That's like to hear us talk about people punching and kicking each other and all that good stuff. So then, we'll have more of your attention. My partner will be a little bit more celebratory. He seems a little down right now. Maybe it's the Monday blues. Is that what it is, bro?
I guess.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, well, anyway, Fighters Nation, we appreciate y'all for rocking with us today, man.
And I had a show last night. That's what it was. I forgot to talk about.
And how do you want?
The show went really well. The show went really well. And one of the guys who was performed before me was talking about that he is Oh my goodness, I forgot what country his parents are from, but they raised them to speak English in the house. And he said his white and black friends knew more Spanish than he did because he never actually spoke Spanish.
Shouts out to Danny Garcia for not speaking Spanish, by the way. So what else we got?
Oh, I didn't know he didn't speak Spanish.
Oh yeah, none at all.
Oh wow.
None.
Well,
None.
I'm glad my wife wasn't there because a joke came out that was serious, and I want to kind of give you guys a little lesson. Now, if you become asthmatic, and a lot more people are becoming asthmatic as the climate changes and the chemicals in our food and our water, it's just coincidence. A lot more people are becoming asthmatic. But what I want to let you know, and I want to warn you of, is don't try to talk trash during sex if you're asthmatic. Because you ain't got but so much air. And if you run out of air, your partner may not understand that you're running out of air. They may think, you're really into it. And all I'm going to say is that happened. And I thought I was doing something when I heard her do that. I had no idea that she was completely running out of air. And then I caught a Charlie horse, so I couldn't even back up. So all I could do was fall forward on her, and all she could do was help. So it got kind of crazy. Fortunately, I was able to hit my leg in that Charlie horse, and I fell back. And yeah, I saw she needed her air pump. I thought she was reaching back for me. Somebody claws you, you're like, okay, she must be really feeling it. I didn't know she was dying. So I was able to get her air pump, and she survived. But yeah, just be careful. Don't talk trash if you got a limited amount of air, because I got a vision problem. I couldn't see what was going on. So fortunately, she's still alive, because I couldn't explain that to her daughter. How'd mommy die? It was just her time. That's all I could have told her. It was just her time.
Listen, man. Or as the famed line from one of Steven Spielberg's best movies, The Color Purple.
Uh-oh.
He died on top of me. And that's how we're going to end the show. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Spread the love, Fire Nation. We rocking with y'all, man. We appreciate everything that y'all do for us. We'll be back tomorrow with our more less refined show. We'll be getting to be more ignorant. We don't have any more of my partner's sex stories, because that is awful. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Same time, same place. Y'all be safe. Fire Nation, we got it.
Don't y'all tell my wife. Don't tell